I don't wanna risk it all again, but I don't wanna be on my own. It always goes much better in my head, but the feelings end up wasted. So I'm sorry for breaking down when you said you got me. I'm used to being let down, but I'm hoping if I'm falling too fast, then you'll catch me. You'll catch me. So I'm sorry that you might have to see I'm not flawless. I promise that I'm facing my problems.
So really what I'm focused on working on the car right now is just trying to get all the hoses and all the wiring taken off. Got most of the hoses undone, radiators undone, the power steering's undone. There's one bolt way down in there that hits up against, you can't actually take off the AC compressor because the frame's in the way. So really the last thing we have to do is just get the engine mounted up on something, take off the suspension. I'm excited how quickly the project is actually going. Really didn't take it a whole lot long.
So I know I told you guys that I was really excited to work on the R32, and I think I actually lied to you guys about that because I'm actually really excited to drive the car after working on it.
This is not the most fun thing to work on. The engine is finally out of the car, so we can finally do timing chain stuff. New wheels for the serpentine belt area, so these guys are going to be looking a lot better.
So a lot of people don't really like iron blocks for vehicles because the engine is so heavy. The cool thing is though about it, iron blocks is over time they actually get kind of light.
Oh yeah, look at all that weight reduction. Look at all that. See, iron blocks are actually great over time. You know, they just don't. Oh yeah, look at that big old chunk. Yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness, this thing's so much faster already. Love it. It's only been 2 weeks I've been working on the car. This one, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I can't find a video on YouTube on how to do it, but I had to take all the wires out of the different intricacies where they all go inside the engine, and then I had to put them all up in top. It was really difficult trying to get them all out of there. That's gonna be really fun trying to figure out how to
how to put all those back in there. So I'm gonna do some filming of the timing chain, what it looks like and everything before I take it off. That way, if we mess it up later on, we know where I messed it up and how I messed it up. I just watched the YouTube video talking about how to do it.
You have to have this guy lined up right there with that little notch. You also have to have your camshafts lined up. There's a special tool that they make that kind of holds the camshafts in place. There is a tiny little notch on a gear, which is really weird, but it lines up with that little line. But also have that zip tie in there just to hold everything in place. I was thinking there was like a slight difference, like maybe the old one was stretched out just a little bit, but they look actually looking pretty good. My guess is that they just want you to have something shiny for the car.
So that way when you go to like car shows and stuff, you look cool. So you got a brand new timing chain. People are like, ugh, you got an old nasty timing chain. But now you got a nice new one. So people will think you're like the coolest guy ever. Got the new timing chain installed.
Looking all pretty good. I didn't think it would be easier than the G37, but it turns out it's actually pretty good. We even got that factory zip tie in there, so that's really good. We got the copper fitting right there for the notch. Copper fittings over there for the other notch. The notch in the middle of the 3 copper ones right there. So we are good to go. I am quite excited.
I'm just walking around the shop real quick, and just reminds me back when I was working on the G37, I had parts everywhere, and
it's just parts everywhere right now. Like, I don't even know. I know where all this stuff goes, but it's like, do I? Do I know where all this stuff goes? It just looks so chaotic and so much. It's like, where does that go? Where does that go? I don't know. What about these guys? Where do those things go? There's just so many bolts laying around, and the engine's just naked, and there's just so many wires to go everywhere.
I'm just like, dude, back when I was working on the G37, I might even post a couple of pictures real quick, but there was just stuff everywhere. But car was all back together, and it looks like chaos. But at the same time, I know where it goes, but to somebody just walking in, they're gonna be like, bro, what are you doing? And I asked myself the same question, what the heck am I doing?
Currently got the hoses all numbered and good to go for where they're supposed to go on the car. Really trying to just match them up, see where everything goes. on all different pieces, so we actually match them all up. We're not using one we're supposed to go somewhere else. We got the injectors all cleaned up, looking a lot better. They were all gunky. Valve cover all painted, looking absolutely beautiful, brand new. It was a really nasty aluminum, just corroded and really old looking. This guy needs painted, and engine block needs painted, so we got a whole bunch of stuff still that needs painted. Also want to do the calipers too. The calipers, there used to be like this really nice blue color, you can tell kind of on the inside. The outside though, they're really faded and not looking so great. These rotors are absolutely perfect, so there's no need to change those at all.
Now we'll probably be changing those out as well.
Everywhere they're all new. Got all the new hoses, new spark plugs, new gaskets for some different stuff. You have some new wheels for the serpentine belt stuff. New gaskets here as well. We have a lot of things that are sandblasted and just need painted. We got these guys sandblasted and painted, which they look fantastic. They're the motor mounts for the car. We have the motor, which has been finally painted and looks way better than what it was. Still have to do this side, which has already been sanded down. We'll definitely sand it down again before we do another round of paint. Working on doing the tread in-depth for the different tires.
It's taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, and also I'm just doing a lot more stuff than I thought I was going to do as well. So that's probably the other issue as to why it's taking so long.
Heat shield, which has already been painted, which also looks really nice. Did a two-tone with the white and the gold. It is coming together fantastically. We have the engine block pretty much all together now. It's all painted, looking good. Starting to put the flywheel and the clutch plate on. We're saying we can put the transmission on after that. But man, this block looks so much better than what it did before. And the wheels are starting to go on. The gold just pops so stinking well and just makes the block look like a new block. And all these also gold pieces that'll be going onto the car. Different areas like engine mounts, got the throttle body, and even obviously got the alternator. I really wanted to paint the alternator, but there was no real way to take it apart.
Calipers that need to be done as well. Those were taking a little bit longer to sandblast. And when I finally decided to take apart some of the caliper, there's some rubber seals that go inside these holes right here, and those things were bad. This side came out just fine, no problem. The other side did not come out, no problem. It broke into like 6 or 7 different pieces. Apparently those things would go bad anyway. Just getting those replaced is actually a good thing. So I ordered a better than OEM set of them, and they're not supposed to be here until the 1st, so we're going to be waiting on that. We can still paint the calipers before then, so it's not like we're just waiting on the caliper stuff to come in, but that's something we're going to be waiting on until we can actually drive the car. Making progress on the Volkswagen R32.
Check this out. We had a whole bunch of coolant hoses that were all lined up here. Now we have some painted brake calipers, which half of them are painted, so you get the other half painted, but they're looking very, very nice. It is looking so good. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. And then there you got this whole mess of them up here, which that'll all go on the engine somehow. I think it's gonna match well with the gold, black, and red combination. Kind of trying to work with the trifecta. Also have these little gold brackets that are gonna be going on around the air box.
Starting to come together though, which is really exciting, so it's all looking really good. Only really have a few parts left to put on the car. Really right now it's just trying to get everything situated where it's supposed to go. Lining wires were supposed to go. Coolant lines where they're supposed to go.
We got the calipers all taken care of over here. They're all nice and red. Looking nice and pretty, looking brand spanking new. Only have a few extra coolant lines. These ones I think go up top, so we're gonna be trying to figure out where those things go. What we got for the engine bay, it's looking so nice. It really looks just super clean, and like everything is just kind of falling together really nicely.
Working on the car, not the most fun thing, but really seeing everything after the fact is just, oh, it looks so nice. So those are not in quite yet because we're still waiting on some parts for the drive shaft, and we're also waiting on some parts for the brakes. It's been a crazy couple months. I think it's been 2 months now exactly that since I started working on the car. The headliner is kind of dangling down on the inside of the car, and also one of the seats is kind of torn. So I'd like to get those 2 things figured out.
This is actually, in my opinion, the nicest car that I own right now. Really, I think it's one of the reasons why I did so much for the engine. I was like, man, I really want this to be a show car, so when you do take it to a car show and you pop the engine, people are like, whoa, look at all that gold and red on the interior. That looks so sweet.
Once we get the Vader kit taken care of, then we can start working on the R32, which would be really fun. I have just several modified cars just hanging out. It would be super cool. Look at that thing. Oh, yeah, let's go.
Currently on the back of the car, we are putting on the brake lines. Going from here, we have to remake all the brake lines, going all the way up to the caliper.
The best part about having two cars, if you have one of the cars that's broken down, or you have one of them that you're doing a big project on, obviously you have the other one to drive, and it's no problem. The only issue is when one of them is being worked on and the other one breaks down, and then it's like, oh, I have two cars, nothing to drive.
Now what we're having is an issue with the slave cylinder line that goes from the reservoir in here down to the actual transmission. So not the worst thing in the world, but we just need to order a new one, and I can't drive this thing now. So not only do we have this in the shop, we also have this thing in the shop. I got a synchronizer kit for the G37 for the transmission. Third and fifth grind all the time, and it's just because the synchronizers are shot. So I got a new kit for that.
We'll be tearing the transmission apart to get that all taken care of, which I'm really excited to not be grinding third and fifth anymore. One of the things that I got for the R32 is a stainless steel brake line kit.
This looks like this. And this is the stock one here. Can't really see too well, but the stock one is just not as good of quality. I was thinking this was just gonna be a plug and play type of thing where you just take the bolt off this side, take the nut off this side, take the nut off that side, and then put the new one in, be good to go. But as you can tell, the starting to bubble and everything. So it's really probably just better just to replace it anyway. It's really funny because you have to do all this brake line for just one little section right here to make it like performance oriented. And it's all actually screwed into each other, looking all nice and better than what the other one was.
And that is why you get good fuel for a car that's been sitting for 8-9 years. So we'll start. We have problems.
And this is part of the problem. This thing will not go any further right there.
Must have dropped a valve or something. Trying to think if this is my fault. I rewatched the video that I watched the timing chain video for. I did exactly what they said for the timing chain installment. It was really good. It was a like 15-minute long video. It took me like 25 minutes to do the timing chain. That could either be the issue. The other issue I'm thinking of is the car had been sitting for 8 years. Maybe the camshaft was lodged in a position where it had the valve open and the spring was compressed for 8 years. I don't know if that would really be an issue or not, but maybe the spring gave out and just dropped the valve out, and then that's what's causing the issue right now. Hopefully the timing chain was okay and it wasn't my fault. I don't think it was my fault. We'll only really know when we take it all apart. So, car is put all back together.
Just washed and waxed the car because it's gonna be sitting outside for a little bit before we can actually work on it again. What do you guys think about the wheels? In fact, they did the white on the tires. I really like it. That's why I did it. The white in the tire tread. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. The red caliper is looking really nice inside the wheel well. Can't really see it with these wheels, but the red does really pop out, matching really well with the red on the engine bay. Which, yeah, I'm thinking probably in the next month, 2 months or so, that's when we'll be able to work on the car again.
Then we'll take off the heads. Once the heads are off, we can see what exactly the damage is. My guess is we've got to get new valves. I've looked up 2 videos now talking about how to do the timing chain. And obviously you should do that before you do the timing chain. I thought the one was good enough because it was really professionally well done. I did everything that they said to do in the video, rechecked my work, checked all the pictures as well, and the pictures are showing that I did it correctly. So could be that the engine was just ready to fail, ready to go out on me. Did not realize that until obviously it did.
If it's really just the engine was bad, I'm fine with that. I'm like, cool, let's get a new engine in, throw it in, and call it a day.
We lose ourselves in the spirit of things. We lose our sight when we put our trust in things of this material world, of things that fade away, yet we keep coming back. trust in things of this material world.